welcome back to Brandon Farm. If you've been sticking around and hanging out with us over on Instagram, you know that I've been doing a 10-part worm series. I have a presentation coming up and that's how I'm preparing for it. I split it up into 10 parts and I made videos on each part. So we made it to part 10, and part 10 is worm casting tea day. That's what I'm doing here in the shop. I've got, you can't see it, 5-gallon bucket of water, and it's just hose water. My 5-gallon bucket of water has been aerating for over 24 hours now. And now I'm going to add the worm casting. So you're just gonna add your 5 pounds of worm castings directly into your water. You'll filter it out later, after. And then I just have this PVC pipe. It's gonna be my stir. So you're just gonna stir it up really, really good. Make sure you get it all off the bottom. It's gonna feel like a really thick, like cake batter.
You're gonna be quiet, Mama, trying to do a video.
It's fine. After you have your mixture like real mixed up, okay, like there's gonna be some sitting on the bottom, I can feel it, but for the most part it's mixed up super well. I did in the beginning take a separate jar and I filled it up with the same water that was in here, aerated it for a little while, and now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of this unsulfured molasses. I just got this off of Amazon. I'm sure you can find it anywhere. Maybe just Google it, and then tomorrow we will filter it out. So, in a filter. So I do this, that way when I pour the molasses, it's not just going directly in my 5-gallon bucket and sinking to the bottom and not doing anything. That's why I'm going to pour my 2 tablespoons into this jar, mix it up really well, and then pour this jar into here and then mix it up. So your molasses is what's going to feed all of those microorganisms that are in this bucket from the castings. I'm going to put the bubbler back in it and let it bubble for another 24 hours. And then tomorrow I will show you how I filter it out, and then we'll bottle it for the first time. So let's get started. Okay, got my jar here. I'm just going to eyeball. We're going to call that 2 tablespoons. Smells good. Okay, I'm gonna take my stick here and I'm just gonna mix that up really well. That way it's like diluted, and then when I mix it into the 5-gallon bucket, it can be dispersed easier rather than just sinking to the bottom. Ooh, getting a little crazy. Okay. Now that I've got that nice and mixed up, I can go ahead and pour it into my bucket. I'm gonna set you up here. So now that I got it all nice and mixed up, I'm gonna leave my stir stick in it. Now I'm gonna put it back over here. This is the bubbler that I have. It's just like a little fish tank bubbler. That little piece is the bubble part. I just plug it in, drop it in there, and let it bubble. This time I'm only gonna let it bubble for 24 hours, and then I will bottle it. So, meet me back here tomorrow and I'll show you the next step. I'm filtering it out. We are at the River Valley track here in Boyd, Texas. And my kid's first time on this track, and he is just ripping through. Here he goes right here. My husband took my youngest on the 110. There he is right there. We're just hanging out on a Sunday. He's just ripping through them, hitting third gear and all of that. It's pretty crazy out here. Back here in the back is like the big track. So all the big bikes. And then they have a small track for the Stasic bikes, and then they have like a regular like kids track. It's pretty crazy out here, but it's cool to like hang out and be that mom that like watches her kid ride the bikes, you know? So anyway, it's just a part of Brandon Farm that this is kind of our double life here. We're living that motorcycle life. Does that make me a moto mom? Holding his little zoo water bottle. 5 years old, ripping on this track. I'm gonna get him going over this jump right here. Ace, what do you think of your first time on this track?
Good.
Yeah? You like it? What's your favorite part?
The whole thing.
The whole thing of this whole track? You like those little bumps over there, like the whoops?
Yeah.
And the jump over here? What about over here? All the turns and stuff?
Yeah.
You gonna go ride another track?
Yeah.
You're doing pretty good, you know that? So I really feel like putting a track in the backyard, putting him on a, what do they call that? It's not a Stasic. The balance bike really helped him learn how to ride. He started the balance bike probably when he was 2 years old, and he's been riding that, which taught him really how to ride a bicycle. And having their track in the backyard, and then we go and ride at the ranch, I think really prepares him for like the unknown. Being that this is his first time on like a big track, like a professional track, way more professional than we have at the house. I just think it's really prepared him. So if you have a kid, that's wanting to ride dirt bikes, I think start on a balance bike for one as early as you can, and then graduate to a Stasic if you can, and then move on up. But having the track at home, as much as it scares me, I think has really prepared him for this kind of thing. And he's loving it. All right, welcome back. This is the next day. My worm tea has been bubbling for 24 hours. So now I'm going to transfer it to a different bucket. And in this bucket, I have a strainer. I got these off of Amazon. So it's actually called Brew in a Bag. It's washable, it's reusable, it's durable, and it fits a 5-gallon bucket. So it's like a brewer's filter. I don't know. I think they call it a cold brew filter. Anyway, it fits this 5-gallon bucket perfectly. So I'm gonna pull my aerator out of my worm tea. I'm gonna give it a good stir, and then I'm just gonna pour it directly into here. And it will take some time to sift through this filter, but I don't want any particles in this worm tea. Otherwise, it could go anaerobic, I think is what they call it. Anyway, where it starts stinking and smelling. And once it starts smelling really bad, it's not good anymore. And I'm gonna try to bottle it. So I got these plastic bottles with lids off of Amazon. There was like 33 of them in a pack. And I'm just going to use these. These are 16-ounce bottles, and so I'm just going to bottle my worm tea, and then that'll be a worm tea concentrate. So then when you get the worm tea concentrate, you want to mix it with your water, and then that you would spray your garden or your plants or wherever you want to spray, your yard, wherever, it doesn't matter. Plants. in general. So anyway, so I'm gonna bottle them, but you wanna make sure that you don't get any of the particles in there. So I just have one of these like collapsible filters. So when I pour it in, I can just, you know, not make a mess. So that's what we're doing. So this part's gonna take some time. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour it into here and then let that filter out completely. That way I get no particles and it's just liquid. And then we'll move on to the bottling. So right now, this worm tea has a very earthy smell to it. It doesn't smell bad, it just smells earthy. And then the stuff, the sludge that's left in here, don't toss it, put that in your garden. That's good stuff. No.
No.
They were orange.
Okay, so that's the Husqvarna, 65.
It has good wheels.
Wasted.
Well, you're in the way. You're crowding me.
Mama likes the KTM.
Yeah, so do I. But Dad has to do some research with the KTM. Because I don't know how to clutch on the KTM.
Okay. All right. That's as much as I'm going to strain it. So now I'm going to bottle it.
What does that mean, Mom?
Put it in these bottles. I'm going to need more bottles.
Take
All right.
a picture.
I got my beer pitcher.
Beer picture?
Make it a little bit easier.
Hold on, man.
Oh.
So you don't want any particles in here
You have to go slow.
whatsoever. There's one.
It's now mine.
Clean your mirror lid.
Five gallons of worm cast tea made 27 16-ounce bottles. Plus, my pitcher is still full, but I'm gonna go spray in my own garden. We're calling that testing the product. So again, it's a worm tea concentrate. So you're gonna wanna mix it with water. I'm gonna have to get the exact,
Yeah.
I gotta look it up again on what the exact measurements are. And then all of my spent castings that are in this filter bag, I'm just gonna go put straight in the garden. And then I can just rinse this filter out and use it again next time. Anyway, so that is worm casting tea day and part 10 of our worm part series. I hope you guys enjoyed our worm series. I hope you guys learned something. And if you didn't, well, I hope you enjoyed it anyway. We'll have some more content coming out soon. Planted some new plants in the garden, so that'll be on the YouTube. Hop over to Instagram. Check us out over there. We post a lot of reels. We try to stay away from informational, educational, more along the lines of just sharing our life with you guys. What we're doing, how we're doing it, what worked, what didn't work. Yeah, so we'd love to chat with you guys over there. If you like our stuff, drop a comment, subscribe to our channel. If you're local, come to the presentation, except family or friends. No family and friends allowed at the presentation. Y'all are gonna mess me up. So anyway, we'll see you later. Let's go ahead and get that freeze frame. I'm gonna back my bucket up here. I'm gonna get my bigger pitcher. What do you think about that? I wanted to double check the amount of worm tea to water ratio, and I just went back in my research and looked it up. Okay, so it's 1 part of the concentrate worm tea to 10 parts water. And you want to apply it to your plants, like saturate your plants, like the soil around your plants, every 2 weeks. Now, it will last on the shelf for a while. In theory, if I did it right, it should last on the shelf for a while. And every now and then, you're wanting to add some sugar to that bottle to feed those microorganisms that are in that bottle. So you can just add like a pinch of sugar into the bottle and then just shake it up and then set it back. And actually, what I'm coming to find out is you're supposed to leave the lid off. So once I sell these, i.e. at a farmer's market or my horticulture meeting or to my local neighbors, you know, family, friends, whatever, I would want to tell them to store it somewhere where you can leave the cap off, and then every once in a while, maybe like once a week or so, maybe add a pinch of sugar. That's all. But to use it every 2 weeks to saturate your soil. So I'm going to use this pitcher that I have left, 1 part of the concentrate to 10 parts water.